Hey guys, welcome to episode number 20 of the Brainiac Trivia Top 10 in 10. I'm John Boyce, the owner and primary writer and host for the Brainiac Trivia League in Middle Tennessee. For the week of June 6th, I asked 128 questions, and what follows are my favorite 10 in 10 minutes or less. Simply put, I'll ask a question, and 10 seconds later, I will give the answer.
Number 10.
Arts and literature to kick us off this week. What famous writer once said, "To succeed in life, you need two things, ignorance and confidence"? What famous writer once said, "To succeed in life, you need two things, ignorance and confidence"? Never has anything been more true in the history of ever. Mark Twain, ignorance and confidence are the only things you need to succeed in life. Mark Twain always had a way with words.
Number 9.
Number 9 will take me to one of my favorite categories, clues and clips. Two-part question. I'll give you a clue to a movie. After that, I'll play the audio clip. Here's your clue. Released in 2007, this romantic comedy made over $200 million at the box office. The film was so popular that a spin-off was released just a few years later. Ryan Seacrest won Best Hissy Fit at the Teen Choice Awards for his brief cameo in the film.
Well, we wanted to talk to you today because we had a little debate on the conference call with New York about you.
About me? You were talking about me?
We were wondering, aloud to one another, whether or not you would be good for on camera.
What'd you decide?
They decided that they like you and they would like to put you on camera.
Really?
I know, I was so surprised too.
From 2007, Knocked Up is the right answer. Still a very, very funny movie.
Number 8.
Miscellaneous for number 8. What was the first American car company to be in business for 100 years? What was the first American car company to be in business for 100 years? From 1897 to 2004, they didn't make it much further than 100 years. Oldsmobile was the first American car company to be in business for 100 years.
Number 7.
I like miscellaneous so much, I'm going to stick in it for number 7. The humble zipper was first patented in 1851, but due to the popularity of the sewing machine, it wasn't until 40 years later that it started being used. However, it was not used on jeans. It was mostly used for tobacco pouches and what other item commonly covering part of a person's body? So the zipper was patented in 1851, but it took 40 years for it to really be used on a regular basis, and it was not really used on jeans at that time, tobacco pouches, and mostly shoes and or boots, something that would go on your foot.
Number 6.
Let's head on over to number 6, two-parter, clues and clips. Let's do it again. Here's your clue as we look for this movie. This 80s comedy was written, produced, and directed by John Hughes. Despite making only $49 million at the box office, the film has achieved cult status. The film stars two recognizable actors, although one has since passed away. This 1980s comedy was written, produced, and directed by John Hughes. Despite only making $49 million at the box office, the film has earned cult status. The film stars two recognizable actors, although one has since passed away.
I know you, don't I? I'm usually very good with names, but I'll be damned if I haven't forgotten yours.
You stole my cab.
I've never stolen anything in my life.
I hailed a cab on Park Avenue this afternoon, and before I could get in it, you stole it.
You're the guy who tried to get my cab. I knew you, yeah. You scared the bejesus out of me.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles from 1987. That is my favorite movie to watch around Thanksgiving. Such a great movie. A lot of people forget that they were actually trying to get to Thanksgiving dinner.
All right.
Hey, that's the McConaughey alarm, the all right alarm. We're going to use it in a little bit different way this time. So this is episode number 20 of the Brainiac Trivia Top 10 in 10, and I would like to show my appreciation to you, the listener, for tuning in. So this is what we're going to do. The fifth person to email me at musictreeentertainment@yahoo.com with I love Brainiac Trivia in the subject line is going to get one of my limited edition, not for sale Brainiac t-shirts. So email musictreeentertainment@yahoo.com with I love Brainiac Trivia in the subject line. The fifth person that does this will get a limited edition Brainiac t-shirt that you literally can't even buy. I only give them out as prizes, and I only print a certain number of them. musictreeentertainment@yahoo.com. I love Brainiac Trivia in the subject line. I promise you're not getting put on any type of email list. You're not going to get any spam from me. I'm not going to do anything like that. Fifth person will get that Brainiac shirt sent to them. Back to the game.
Number 5.
Multiple choice. You know, if multiple choice cracks the top 5, it must be a pretty good question. Which outlaw once wrote his own press release for one of his robberies? Jesse James, Billy the Kid, or Butch Cassidy? Which outlaw once wrote his own press release for one of his robberies in one of the most outlaw things I've ever heard in my life? Jesse James handed the press release to the engineer while he was robbing him. And of course, it got ran the next day. Absolutely gangster.
Number 4.
Number 4, food and beverage. For decades, the World's Fair in St. Louis in 1904 was credited as the birthplace for sweet tea. However, after a document from 1890 was uncovered, the city of Somerville is now credited as the birthplace of sweet tea. What southern U.S. state is Somerville in? So for decades, the World's Fair in St. Louis back in 1904 was credited as the birthplace of sweet tea. But then a document came up in 1890 in this small town of Somerville. So now Somerville is credited as the birthplace of sweet tea. That is in South Carolina. So South Carolina, you are the home of sweet tea.
Number 3.
Into the top 3, leisure. Used in multiple installments of the franchise, what video game character plays an instrument known as an ocarina? I'm going to spell it, and there's a slight chance I'm mispronouncing it. Ocarina, ocarina. Used in multiple installments of the franchise, what video game character plays an instrument known as an ocarina? An ocarina was played by Link in Zelda. So to be clear here, Link is the correct answer, not Zelda.
Nerd alert! Nerd!
Number 2.
Number 2, sports. In the late 1960s, who became the only NBA player to ever be named Finals MVP in a losing effort? In the late 1960s, who became the only NBA player to ever be named Finals MVP in a losing effort? So not only was it the only time it's happened in a losing effort, it was also the very first time they gave the award out. The logo himself, Jerry West, the only player to be named Finals MVP in a losing effort. He made a pretty good habit out of losing in the finals.
Number 1.
Number 1, my favorite question of the week. I guess you would call it miscellaneous, maybe arts and literature. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Who was on the cover of the best-selling Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue of all time? Who was on the cover of the best-selling Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue of all time? was on the cover of the best-selling Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue of all time. There's so many to choose from. 1989's Kathy Ireland. I can see it now. It was yellow. So back in 2014, Sports Illustrated was celebrating its 50th anniversary of their swimsuit issue. And that cover, the 1989 cover with Kathy Ireland, was declared the greatest Sports Illustrated swimsuit cover of all time by Sports Illustrated themselves. She actually ended up being featured in Sports Illustrated Swim for 13 consecutive years, making the cover 3 total times. There we go, guys. Episode 20 in the books. Hope you enjoyed it. Remember to follow us on those socials. We got all kinds of fun events going on. We'd love for you to be a part of those if you're in the area. Always appreciate you listening to the podcast. Thanks for playing. I'm John Boyce, and this has been the Brainiac Trivia Top 10 and 10.